Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name, we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
I'm telling a party until it rain, I dressing up in my red, white and black. I don't care what nobody say. Every carnival I done day. Plus I know all artists and all the mass bands. Them say I'm mad and I'm mad. I'm telling you where I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I's a Trini, Popo Trini, cause they know how Trini does look. And they like how Trini does cook. And they like to hear Trini talk. And they like Trini woman walk. And we make good company. Yeah, and we make good company. And we make good company. See me done. We just dictate all the pace for now. We just represent for we soca. We just sell out all the strong liquor. We just represent for we soca. Them say we mad and we bad. I'm telling you where we from. We're from Trinidad and Tobago. I's a Trini, Popo Trini. Oh, cause they love how Trini does look. And they like how Trini does cook. And they like to hear Trini talk. And the love Trini woman walks.
Wake up, rise up. It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
I'm telling ya.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Trini. Hey, Trini. How you doing this morning? Wherever you may be, Trinidad and Tobago, up and down the Eastern Caribbean, and those who are streaming all around the globe. Trini, good morning to you. As we welcome everybody to the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, where there's never ever a dull moment.
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago.
Want to say much thanks as always to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. All that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing, honor to you.
Look.
People of the Australia, Sir Charles, happy am I to be here with you on this Thursday morning. Yes, we're heading down to the weekend. We are at the gates on this throwback Thursday. Welcome to you. Get up and go. This is your breakfast show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Good morning, and welcome to the breakfast show on this Thursday morning. The weekend is here, people. At midnight tonight, we are in the weekend. You know we celebrate weekends on this show like no other show on planet Earth. We celebrate the weekend. And so, of course, good morning wherever you are in Trinidad and Tobago, up the Caribbean, wherever you are on planet Earth, wherever you are, Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Middle East. Good morning to you, and welcome to the breakfast show coming to you live out of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to my co-host Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Richard Raghubar Singh. Good morning, Charles Davis, aka Sir Charles. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's as you said, it's a beautiful Thursday morning outside. After a very strange night, a very eerie night. You understand? It is a beautiful day out. For those of you who may have experienced it, I mean, I was talking to Richard and Sir Charles this morning. There was a freak storm, wind, whatever it was last night.
Windstorm of sorts, because it wasn't as much rain as it was wind.
It was intense wind, howling wind.
Disturbing wind. Because it woke me, it got me off my bed. I looked out the window. I said, "What's going on here?" So I opened my front door and I went out on the balcony and I started to film it, because it was scary. It was very unusual, and it was very ferocious. Everybody in the house here went outside because we're like, "What the hell is it?" You heard it coming first.
You heard
it in the distance. And he was like, "What's that?" And then all of a sudden, it arrived saying, "I reach."
Yeah.
And when he say "I reach," he will reach.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like some images of it that you could see. This is courtesy Mora Weather Network. And this is an idea of maybe how I don't know if the picture does it justice, but you can see how those trees are swaying in the wind. That's how ferocious it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if other people in the stream experienced it.
I did a couple of videos, but I call names in it, so I don't want to share.
You were calling names?
Right.
When I look back at the video, I realized I was recording for a specific person.
Oh, you was calling out for help.
I called the name. So
when Richard, he was real scared.
No, but it was scary. It was kind of scary, Sir Charles.
Yeah, it was scary.
It was kind of scary because it was so ferocious and it wasn't brief. No, it wasn't horribly long, but it wasn't brief.
No.
Wow. I missed
It
it.
went
Sorry.
on for a bit.
Oh
It
my
went
gosh,
on for a
I
bit.
missed it.
It went
But
on
when
for
I
a bit.
went out in my yard this morning, maybe the one mango that was on the tree on the ground, and all the young soursaps off the tree, so I lose all my soursop.
Mm.
Everything on the ground.
Did shake off everything?
Yes, it was that ferocious. It was that ferocious.
And I wanted some of that soursop, you know.
I know.
Mm.
I know. Say what? I gotta walk across in the empty space and see if the other tree have. I planted a tree out in the empty space there too. And maybe all of that drop off too last time because out there even worse than mine.
Even worse, because it's even less protected.
Yes. And it had
my God.
avocado and all kind of thing on that tree out there, you know.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear. I mean, I was looking on Facebook. I said, nah, everything was going on Facebook.
Yes.
I said, nah, people have to be on Facebook talking about this. And sure enough, people were, and it seemed, I thought maybe it was just Eastern Trinidad. But I was seeing people in Princestown and Couva and Freeport commenting on it. I'm sure people on the stream must be commenting on it.
Yeah.
Because it was very unusual. And it was unusual wind.
Yeah,
Unusual.
It was.
The best word I described was disturbing.
Yeah. It didn't really rain.
No, it didn't.
You know? Yeah.
Very little.
Yeah. I'm seeing Valerie Mendoza, that's in Dabadi. She's talking about it. Mrs. R also speaking about it. You know, so I don't know who else experienced it along. Well, you said it was all the way down west. I didn't see any. I didn't get any feedback from anybody in the west.
I didn't see Western people talking about it on Facebook. I saw as far as Sawh, Barataria, people commenting that they felt they experienced it. I saw people say Princestown, Freeport, Couva. I'm just going to remember on what they said on Facebook last time. People started to comment. About
Diane Payne is saying it was also in South. It was an intense wind in South. But I'm telling you, it was howling. And I heard the howling first when I got up. I said, what is that going on outside? And I said, was I getting a visitor and they were coming that way? You know?
That's why you're calling someone names.
Are you saying all the women in your life were witches? And they would win?
You gotta call names.
I said, why they coming that way today? Why they want to come by me now?
I don't know. And that was the analogy I could come up with.
It like Sparrow. Well, Jean, Dinah.
I say like Mrs. Aronzina and them coming across the road.
What way you going?
Oh.
Mrs. R,
I sure you wake up, Zina, with that one.
I go out in my yard looking for a broom not fall down.
Oh my word.
Oh Lord, look, listen at this life same playing it sweet, no?
Oh boy.
Oh, we're happy to be here. We're happy to be in the land of the living. Happy birthday to Renee Cummins is celebrating her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Renee.
Happy Renee. And someone else who listens to us, I'm sure I said, Nigel Lemont, who's a good friend of mine. He lives out there in Atlanta. Happy birthday, Nigel. And also yesterday, I got a message last night late. We would have missed it. From one of the most beautiful women in the world. As a matter of fact, she was the most beautiful woman in the universe in 1976. She celebrated 48 years. Yesterday was the 48th anniversary of her winning Miss Universe.
Wow. Oh my God.
Janelle Penny-Commission. She messaged me last night. 48 years.
That's a milestone.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, that's a global milestone, actually.
It is, you know. So she celebrated 48 years as Miss Universe yesterday, July 16th. Yes. So we missed that, but she reminded me last night. So I tell her we maybe want to chat with her maybe tomorrow, please God. In our light day, we'll probably give her a call and just give her a chat, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, before we get into interacting with our audience, maybe we should get to our good news and then greet people in the stream before we get to the headlines. Of course, we have an exciting show today. We have Dr. Lall Sawh, who, of course, is one of the premier urologists, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but in the Caribbean. and he was one of the pioneers of kidney transplantation in the Caribbean. And he will be on our show in the next hour to talk about, urology and urology issues, including kidney health and, of course, prostate health for men.
Yeah, men.
Men, or they don't like to go and get those exams, or even do a simple thing of doing your blood test and doing your PSA, even if you don't want to get the exam. Many men don't even do that. And PSAs are not expensive to do. And at least it gives you a look at, in terms of your biology. Anyway, that will be the next hour. It will be an interesting conversation with Dr. Sawh. You should not miss it.
No, you shouldn't miss it. And I want to thank one of our listeners, one of our fans, Mr. Amjad Ali, for making that suggestion. And you know where that suggestion came out? Based on our discussion of pea stain the other day.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So even that pea stain might be a sign that something is not all right with you, eh?
Urinary incontinence.
Yes, urinary incontinence. So we're going to speak with Dr. Lall Sawh in the next hour. He was so happy to join, to be invited to the show, Richard. He has a joke for you. I tell him he had to give you that on air, right? He has a joke personally for you that he wants. I say you could give him it on air,
Let's go to our good news. Our good news today is more a little bit of, I suppose, an analysis of the world rather than specifically good news. But it's something that I liked, and to hell what, I choose it.
Empires will collapse eventually. The dominant power of any age will be overrun by corruption, incompetence, and a lack of vision. A country will forget what made it strong, and complacency breeds fragility. When a nation starts to look after only a few people at the top, it's often not long before something or someone takes over. This is known as the empire cycle, and it goes back to Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun argued that the strength of any empire or nation depends upon its asabaya, or social cohesion. This is the unity or bond between a tribe, a nation, or a people. An asabaya is usually strongest when in harsh conditions and in opposition, and it weakens when it settles down into a life of complacent luxury. Ibn Khaldun argued that an empire will rise and fall within 5 generations. First, you have the sweeping conquest and self-confidence of a unified asabaya people. Second, there is a move from a community-based rule to a power consolidated within a government. Third, you have the golden age of a wise and prosperous ruler and administration. And fourth, there is the creep of overconfidence, vanity, corruption, and selfishness into a culture. And finally, there is the defeat and loss of power to a new asabaya group incoming. Ibn Khaldun's sociological approach to history is now the norm, and his empire cycle applies to dynasties and governments throughout all time. It's just as relevant today as it was for 14th century caliphates.
Little bit of a history lesson there and a little bit of philosophy there. I thought it was interesting. So.
It is. We might have missed out on number 4 though. If you about the wise and what something government. He described government in a way that I think we may have missed out on that. Yeah.
But I don't know. If you're referencing it to Trinidad and Tobago, I don't know. Have we gone through 5 generations? We probably have.
Well, we had to reference it to the world, but we could narrow it down to Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, you should reference it to the world. But the world has different countries which will have different, dynasties and empires in different ways. But it's an interesting food for thought, and that's our good news for today.
All right. So we could start by, you ready to go through the chat now?
Yeah, as soon as you're ready, sir.
I'm having coffee and I'm still have my frog in my throat. Melissa from Shafle. First time, Melissa. Congratulations, 12:01 a.m. You're the first on our chat today. Yay. Boy Bidesi from Debe says, good morning. Valerie Mendoza, good morning. Subash Mangal from Woodland. I heard that was that was very windy last night in some parts of Trinidad. Hope everything is okay. And we haven't heard of any roofs being blown off or anything like that. But the wind was that intense that you could probably have had.
That could have happened.
Yes, that could have happened.
Because you started to be concerned about your own.
Yes. It was very, very, very strong. Susan Jessup says, morning, guys. The breakfast show, great topic. Men, please tune in. And of course, in the next hour, we'll have Dr. Sawh. So men, you should not miss this show. Wendy Ann James says, good morning, Richard, Wendell, and Sir Charles. The weekend is on the horizon. Have a beautiful day. Brennan Smith from Goodwood in Tobago. Garfield Hazel. Marcia Rock says, good morning from Orlando, Florida. Alistair Hart from San Fernando. Magic says, grand rising, gentlemen. Robert Taylor from Fernandina Beach. Margaret Thomas, good morning, guys, and blessings. Marlon Motley from North Valsain.
Morning, Marlon.
Anne-Marie Watson from Maloney. Rena Boodoo Jennings from Pity Valley. Sherwin and Juliet Kerr from Arima. Rena Jennings also said there was plenty wind and lightning last night. I didn't see any lightning though. You know,
but Sydney, on my street, there was a sparking of the wires in the distance. All of a sudden, it started to spark and shoot out, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" But there was no loss of electricity, so at least not by me.
Well, remember, Richard, I've always told you sometimes when I'm in your company, I'm always afraid that lightning is going to strike. For years, I was in that tea room and was afraid that lightning would hit that tea room, you know. People, you all seen his mouth? You seen the words he's forming? I hope you've seen it.
A priceless moment. Oh my word.
Josie Richardson says, good morning, gents. Diane Payne, good morning on the net. Diane Payne is from South because she confirmed that later on. Brent Hackshaw says, good morning, gentlemen. Blessed day to you guys. Keep up the great work you do on the program. Thank you very much for that endorsement, Brent.
Yes, thank you very much, Brent.
Helen McCarthy, guys, have a blessed one. Anne Noel from Oshawa in Ontario. I don't know why Oshawa is in. I come to Ontario from time to time. No, I've never been to Ontario, actually. Yeah, I have been. Anyway, Cathy Anshell says, good morning all to the breakfast show. Have a safe and wonderful day.
Morning,
Helen McCarthy says, good morning, guys. Cathy Anshell said, Steph, you're missing this morning. I think I know why. It has something to do with a deformed bread. I will go no further. Claire Lendor Rollins says, blessed morning, everyone. Gavin Frank from Powder Magazine. Odell Guy from Sangre Grande. Doreen Pierre from Gastonia in North Carolina. Lambert Bruce from El Dorado. Far Rockaway. Morning, Far Rockaway. Cheryl Johnson from Malabar in Arima. Mrs. R from Trin City. Is Trin City?
Yes. Good morning, Mrs. R.
You left your broom outside by me.
I behave yourself, eh?
I think I know who that broom actually belongs to, eh? But
you better leave people alone this morning. You have people calling the food.
No, I'm going personal there with that broom. You know. Phil Ben said, good gentlemen, blessings to you all. Have a great day. CJ from New York, do have a wonderful day. Love always. Valerie Mendoza says the wind was scary. Mrs. R said, I did, Rich. I don't know what you're talking about there. Miguel Gonzalez, good morning. Diane Payne says, yes, Richard, it was windy in South also. So we know Diane Payne is from South. Mrs. R. Robert Harper says, good morning, gentlemen. Miguel Gonzalez from St. James. I wonder if I know this Miguel. First time he put where he's from. Brina Boodoo Jennings says, yes, we had extremely high winds on a lighting show. Ozzy Molino, good morning, TNT. Bernadette Yates says, good morning. Shirma Paul, good morning. Heavy wind in Carapachima last night. No rain was falling. So true. Ram Naresh says, wonderful Thursday morning to ask. It's the signs of the times. Jesus is giving us warnings to get our lives in order for his soon return. Get ready for his grand return. I pray all of us will be ready. Ramnash, I decided to read your entire message this morning because I know you may actually be speaking the truth. Trini gets fit. Good morning, guys. Evans David, good morning. Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles. Diane Payne also says, that's just a warning, my people. Give thanks for life. God is still good. God is still God. I suspect you mean God is still good. But you're right. Give thanks for life. Mrs. R says, that is, oh my God. Okay. Jason Samuel, wind gust of 52 kilometers per hour was recorded at Piaco International Airport. So there we have confirmation. Thanks from Jason. Ava Smith says, blessed morning, Richard, Wendell, and to Charles, all locked on. Have an enjoyable and safe day. James Kamau, nothing in the west. I wonder how far west. Ron DeSantis Jr. says, good morning, TNT-styled political bacchanal in both Democratic and Republican headquarters over the past 2 days. Stay tuned. Jaron Joseph, good morning, all. Miguel, roof blown off in Vega de Oropouche. So just as we thought, someone is now reporting that a roof was in fact blown off in Vega de Oropouche. Julia Batiste, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Julia.
Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan.
Good morning, Michael.
And Noel says it's east of Toronto. Well, Tinto living somewhere real fire, and I don't think it's Oshawa. He was in Brampton at one time. Rena Buru Jennings, good morning, Mrs. R. About grand return. Steph says about grand return. Oh, I think I know what he's hinting at. Miguel Gonzalez, no, St. James had lightning. I am from Grandy. Oh, okay. And Ram Norris says, thank you, Wendell. You're most welcome. All right, those are all our greetings on the chat.
All right, so let me say good morning to Archbishop Ashton Clark. He was in very early this morning. Oliver Manwaring, good morning. Colin, out there in Carenage. Karen did not indicate if they had anything down on their side. Horatio, good morning to you guys, and of course all your employees. To Terry and Peters, good day to you. Kent, out there in Laventille. Now, none of these people are talking about anything like what you all are talking about, right? So although Sheldon, James, good morning to you. Sebastian, good morning to you. Patrick Billy, good morning to you. And Mr. Beeps out there in Pity Valley saying nothing like that on my side.
Okay. Some people may have slept through it like you did, Sir Charles.
Yeah.
It happened somewhere between 9:30 and 10 p.m. last night. That much I can remember.
That was about 10. It was about 10.
Yeah, based on my video. Yeah. You know. Good morning also to Chevron Shogun. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty intense.
And good morning to Zena.
She's in.
Hey, Zena's up. Yeah.
Tie down that broom. Rest some ceramic furniture on top of that broom there.
Zena is only Wendell making those comments. I just wanted to be clear.
Please ignore him.
Garfield Hazel. Sorry. Let me clear my throat before I read this message. I want to read Garfield Hazel's message. He said, so they keep saying the time is near. I am not an atheist, but I am sure decades ago, people before me used to be saying the same thing. Garfield Hazel, you're absolutely right.
Not decades before. You're very wrong. Centuries before.
Centuries before. True. You know, Curtis Patrick said it was a mini hurricane. I don't know if it reached that. Well, I don't know if it could be classified that.
There was, I don't know.
All right.
It was ferocious, though. It was ferocious. You know,
for a measure of balance, let me read Lincoln message now. So Lincoln is saying, so the only message all your God can send is devastation, flood, wind, disaster. You all are okay? Okay, all right. So I wouldn't read the rest.
You know, and we highlight
Lincoln, you're thinking just like Richard Raghubasi.
Yes.
And a guy I don't name, I will only call his surname.
Lincoln, take wind. Not wind, take wind.
Lincoln,
the only thing this morning is mayhem and bacchanal.
He woke you up this morning.
I just thank God for life. I just
Look at
thank
this
God.
beautiful morning we have here. He sent that too.
Yeah.
I just thank God for life. I just thank Him for health. I just thank Him for the good people around me, for a smile, for this radio station that we could bring joy, education, and information to people in the morning. That's what I thank God for. I can't thank God for devastation. You know what I mean? I can't acknowledge that God wants to destroy us. I can't acknowledge that.
Well, the God from the Old Testament was certainly very ferocious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Steph is asking, why is it a him? If Steph, you may be right. I always used to say, I am sure God is a woman. I believe God is a woman, but I'm sure the devil is one.
You're quoting the devil's wrath there.
I think whether you're going to have some one of those feminist groups coming at us.
Let me ask you what Ragu was saying. Again?
Anyway, we can get to our headlines. We can start. Of course, I didn't get time to go down to get newspapers today.
David Wears is saying, I always said, if that day ever comes, I'm sure someone will be saying, I tell all you so. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're very right. So morning to all our people on the chat. We'll get in the headlines now.
We can. I can start with the Newsday.
Okay.
I can start with the Newsday. So gun dealers meet Alexander, call for law reform. That's one of the trending stories in the Newsday this morning. Gonzalez tells Alexander, welcome to the real show. I'm not so sure what he means. PNM, opposition not taking UNC bait on CPEP. More contract oil workers threaten sick out on Perenco platforms. Padarat knocks political corruption at CPEP. Hotel Association President Tobago's tourism sector should see improvements in coming months, and Stand Your Ground consultation to start on July 22nd. That's just some of the stories in the Newsday this morning.
All right, today's Express online. Jolene rips into Gonzalez. Government Minister Jolene John has slammed, of course, former MP and chairman of the PNM, Marvin Gonzalez, who I thought his statements were taken a bit out of context. Maybe he could have used other words, but I think he has a point, and somebody has to make the point. Maybe we could even discuss that too, about the composition of state boards, because it was the main story on a television station last night. They even polled it about the composition of state boards that clearly has a slant in one direction. You know, even in the age, because I saw the list from the HDC. Now, HDC is Dr. David Lee, who's of Chinese origin, Anil Roberts, who's a Dobler, and he proudly proclaims it, and Philip Alexander, who is like a local white, and none of those denominations are represented on the HGC list. It's entirely of one ethnicity, you know. So it was a trending story on the news last night, and Marvin Gonzalez, of course, had his comments to make. He may not have used it, but I would not have used the descriptions he used. But I think somebody has to say it, all right? New chairman, NCC has to live up to its potential. And the new chairman, guess who, Sir Charles?
Yes, I see. Peter Kanai.
Peter Kanai himself. So congratulations, Peter Kanai, who has promised us an interview.
That is why we can't get on to him at all. He's very busy.
So he's now the chairman of NCC. Congratulations. Stop Sammy attack. That's one of the new thing. They want us to stop attacking Darren Sammy. No. Crown. Melville's trademark can be challenged. And of course, that's also a trending story about Selwyn Melville wanting compensation for the use of the term Soca Warriors, the name Soca Warriors. I think he wants $3 million a year over the next 5 years. So that's also a trending story. We'll try to get in touch with Selwyn Melville because it'll make an interesting story. So those are some of the stories trending in today's Online Express.
All right. So in the Guardian, of course, the main headline is not on board. Gonzalez takes issue with composition of new state boards. All right. Also, Iowa named on new NCC board. Chairman Peter Kanai focuses on financial transparency. Also, ex-CPEP boss denies selling officials former cabinet okayed contract extensions. And fired CPEP workers fear eviction, poverty as the pre-work resumes soon. And Swarat Singh flags severe staff shortage in customs and TTPS. Those are the main stories.
All right.
All right. So this is the point at which we can open up our lines as Wendell will say what the morning poll is. Of course, you could probably make it about the state boards if you want. If that's one of the trending stories.
Yeah, we could piggyback on TV6 poll last night. Do you agree with the well, I can't remember how they phrased it, but I'm sure
it has to be the ethnic composition of the state boards.
Yeah.
Stop tiptoeing around the tulips. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So is there? Do you have an issue with it? I guess could be the pool. Because obviously, when you are in a country of mixed racial compositions, mixed ethnicities, people start to look at those things.
Well, certainly, as I said, the first person who came out and spoke about it was actually Michael Anizette. He's gone quiet, but nothing has changed. And he was told at the point in time that take time, it'll be fixed. But it hasn't been fixed. But again, as I said, we can avoid some of the terms. So I had cause to delete a comment on the chat just now. We can avoid some of those terms, people. We can say things without being, how I should put it, insulting or disrespectful. We can, right?
All right, so the lines are open to you people, and the calls have started. So can we go to the lines?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. All right. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Hey, Zena, good morning. How are you doing?
This line is very noisy.
The line is what?
Hello? Zena,
Ambrose Blah, just you could say
Hello?
you could oppose things without using some of the terms you use. Please try to avoid it.
The line, your line is very noisy this morning, Sir Charles.
All right, I will check that. I will check that.
From the wind.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Richard and Wendell.
Yes, Zena, we're hearing you.
We're hearing you. Go ahead.
All right. Yes. Last night that wind was very, very, very ferocious. I thought it was going to lift the roof off. And I said to it, go and shake up Wendell's roof and haunt him. Yes, and haunt him for that vicious remark he made yesterday morning. It's a good thing I didn't get in yesterday and I got up a bit late. When I replay that and I hear Wendell, I say, Wendell, mad?
What did I say?
You're trying to insult our what to say, our loyalty? I was with 102 since 102 start, and then I would all through that thing myself, Rena, CJ, and you come yesterday morning and call out your number one fan. I said, but what the hell is going on here? I get so vexed. If I did wake up at that time, I don't know what I would have tell Wendell, I don't know if I did get in. So I sent that win last night to rock you.
To rock him up.
Richard, are you hearing this? Zena, send the win.
You have to apologize for what you said there. I'm sure it hurt CJ as much as it hurt me and Rena.
What are you talking about, Zena?
All right. Okay.
Right. So
But what is
that's
she
what
speaking
I want
about?
to start
How
with
did?
this morning. So I would leave
Right.
it there.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right.
And
Okay.
I thank the win last night.
For shaking him up.
I
Oh,
can't see myself ever hurting CJ or Rena Boodoo Jennings. I can't see it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
They would message me and tell me that I said something, or they would have told me that they
Yeah.
felt uncomfortable with, because you know we have a lot of fun here in the morning. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we'll get some clarity as the day goes through.
Mhm.
Good morning to you.
Rena
caller.
or CJ would have told me. Trust me.
Hello. Good
Morning,
morning.
morning, Mr. Charles. Morning, Wendell. Morning, Richard.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
I think I was watching the news last night with the gun association. Want to have a meeting, or they want to have a meeting to drop the age to people to apply for gun for 18 years of age.
Okay. So
I read something
we
about
want to raise some ages and we want to drop some ages.
No, we didn't follow.
I
We
know
didn't
that.
follow that story, Mr. Patrick. But yeah, instead of asking us questions, tell us what it is now.
Well, I see the gun association. They had a meeting with Mr. Alexander, and they want them to have a board, a gun board to distribute gun, and they don't want the commissioner of police to be the all and the be all of giving people gun.
Okay.
And they're asking for the age to drop. So that is a very good thing for you to look at, because they want to strip the commissioner of that. They say, yeah, look at what? Police can do that. Right? But they're looking at the age in different things, and they want to drop some race, but a serious thing like a firearm, 18 years.
Yeah.
We have talked about that on this.
Okay. Thanks very much, Patrick.
We talked about that on this program before, that we felt it should not be with the commissioner. There should be a board or a committee or an institution that deals with the process of granting FULs or not, and that maybe the police may have a part to play in terms of background checks, but the ultimate approval should not lie at the desk of the Commissioner of Police. One would want to think that the Commissioner of Police is by far too busy to have to decide whether somebody gets an FUL or not.
Yeah, especially with the amount of applications coming in.
Exactly. So he had to spend an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours of a particular day deciding, let me sign off on this, let me sign off on that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or set aside a day every month.
That doesn't make that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Mr. Billy, good morning.
Good morning, the breakfast show. Not in the best of mood. I got some bad news last night of the passing of a family in Tobago. Miss Charlene Laurie, who passed away. I want to say condolences to the Lauries and the Billies. My nephew married to his daughter. He lives in Dubai. So a bit sad this morning. I get that news about 10:30 when all the thing. So thank you all for letting them know that the family know that the passing of Mr. Laurie. He is the owner of Hope Cottage, going up the port. Wendell, I know you must stay there on many occasions. Nice place.
I know the lorries from Upper Nile Street too.
Very sad. Have a good day.
Condolences, Mr. Billy.
Condolences from us. to you and your
Condolences,
family.
Patrick. Yeah. Condolences. Yeah. All right. Of course, we have a vibrant chat this morning, so I'm just monitoring it as I go along, because I understand your passion, and I know you. I've heard you. You've called in several times, even on the previous. I know your passion, But as I say, we still try to keep the program, at least the chat.
Avoidance of doubt. In case any of you all in the chat have any doubt whatsoever, Wendell Stephen is the chat police. Okay?
No, I am. That's the responsibility.
I'm clearing it up. So
Yes.
if you're out of step in terms of some comments you're making that are, very negative or disgusting, your comment will be deleted. And if you're real disgusting, you'll be banned.
By the police.
Look, my cousin is in the chat. Miles Walcott. Morning, Miles. Miles is a teacher, and of course, he's a deacon in the Anglican Church. Good morning, Miles. Nice to see you chatting on the show.
All right. Good morning to you, caller.
Want to be Catholics are always welcome.
Guys, Carol here.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol here.
Wendell,
Yes.
I want to tell you what Zena is talking about. Zena is talking about you naming Miss Jessup, I think is her name, as only number one
That
fan
she-
yesterday morning. I told
Shut.
Seth about it.
And
Because
let
I
me
was
tell you
wondering
something. I
what
warned Wendell about
was
this.
to be
I said, Wendell, what
you
are
know,
you
being a
doing?
number one fan, somebody who has been there for all these years. I used to hustle to reach the work before 6 o'clock so I could turn on the radio in my office to sit down and listen to all your, from ever since I who brought people to the show. You understand? That is what Zena told
Get
me.
that licks, Wendell.
You
Lick,
know what?
lick,
I
lick.
want all the people who feel that they're number one to come down my rumbox this Friday. Or they come down my rumbox this Friday. We can
You're
talk.
trying. Now we trying to monetize it.
Oh, my word.
That's what she's talking about. That God.
Okay, Richard did warn me on air. Thanks, Carol. Richard did warn me, but I meant Susan Jessup in the terms of the number one person who would send us a message every morning. That's what I meant. And of course, she's now getting competition from others. You understand? But that's what when I said number one in terms of
let me just tell you that backtrack get a rating of 2 out of 10.
Oh, my word.
I now see why CJ and Rena didn't even bother. Because they won't be bothered by something like that. They know they are all number ones.
Oh, he tried different modes of backtracking, Sucha.
Anyhow, so good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell. Yes, Wendell, I feel so
Susan,
good.
you see how much trouble you get, man?
But you have plenty number one fan. I don't know why everybody vexed about it. Just the slip of the tongue you call my name, but enough respect that I taking it. But it's not this Friday. Everybody is next week Friday because they know we're in Christmas in July. Next week Friday is officially the day with parang everything. So you have to be done by Rumbox to come. Enjoy. So all the number one fans, make sure find out yourself done by Rumbox next week Friday because it's Christmas in July and it's going to be fantastic. But gentlemen, great topic this morning, especially with the prostate. Men, you need to check yourself. Just like the ladies, we have to check ourselves. I know you're probably frightened with the fingers thing, but you still have it easy. We had to take metal. And they had to put a gel on it, and it's uncomfortable. So you still have a nice warm fingers to deal with. But the next person I hope you all get to invite on our program is Dr. Rad's Explosion. He have more detail, more in depth with everything. I hope you all get him on the program.
All right, Suzanne. Thanks much.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
But Suzanne, give me an idea there for next week Friday. I had to tell Harper get some parang. Harper work on some parang now.
Yeah, and had some little pastel and thing.
Yeah. Well, the pastel man, he could get samosas, maybe he baking bread these days.
A little hops and ham, a little pastel, and selling. You understand?
Okay.
Ms. Nabadi, good morning. All the ladies are calling this morning, guys.
Morning, Brenda. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Davidi.
Well, last night around 10 o'clock, I thought it was rain, so I thought I pulled in the window. You guys have the windows open till I ready to go to my bed all hours in the morning. And I say, rain so heavy? She said, what rain? That is wind. Next night, I see my passion fruit falling off the tree. Quite people through the window to see what's going on. The trees, and then the guava tree branch broke this morning. I saw it on the ground this morning. I say, what kind of wind that was last night? But it, as Richard said, it wasn't long, and it wasn't very short. Yeah. But I'm glad it stopped where it stopped here because one other things are fall down. So that's good.
Well, for guava tree branch to break, that had to be real strong wind, eh?
Yes. When then they said something?
Guava tree branch don't break, so for that to break, that had to be real strong.
Yes. That guava tree came down with some of my passion fruit vines, all them on the lawn. So anyway, I agreed, Mr. Marvin Gonzalez, because you remember about 2 weeks ago, I said that those were just a few boards that were announced, and I said was only token African, one. And now I say, well, okay, Mr. Anis had mentioned it. So they might, come around a little bit. But that hasn't changed. And I mean, how come? And then did you all read what Miss Jillian John said about what Marvin said? She disagreed with him. Did you all read what she said or just
No, we
paraphrase?
just saw the
She
headline.
said the population elected the UNC to run the government. So when they elect the UNC, they could do what they like. They could pick who they want. So I just read it.
She's not wrong, eh?
Against
And
some
she's not wrong, eh?
nonsense.
She's not wrong for saying so.
If she's saying that the population, the majority of the population elected the UNC to run, what does that mean in relation to that comment what Marvin Gonzalez made? Big sense from nonsense. You all have a wonderful day, and I'm waiting for the program too. That is important for everybody. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. Everybody had to live in this space at the end of the day, regardless. You didn't like certain decisions of the PNM, you ain't gonna like certain decisions of the UNC, but you had to live. Life has to go on. What you gonna do? You could talk from now till eternity. You could do polls. You could criticize, but you had to do. The only time you get to change a government is when an election is called. Or as Muta Baruka said, he says, well, let me not repeat that. Let me not say what Muta Baruka said, because people might think I'm inciting some sort of violence. But there are three ways governments are changed. Okay? We do it by the ballot. Okay? That's how we do it, by the ballot in Trinidad and Tobago. And we want to continue doing it by the ballot. All right?
Absolutely.
Good morning. Do you have a call, Sir Charles?
Just lost it.
Yeah. So somebody gave up there's a pride parade apparently this Sunday by Phase 2. When I say Phase 2, what do you mean? Phase 2 in a housing area?
But the LGBTQ community in Trinidad and Tobago celebrates Pride in this month. The month of July.
Not June.
Not June. The rest of
So
the
they normally have a parade around Mandela Park.
Yeah, so I think that's the parade they're probably talking about.
Oh, so when they say Phase 2, they mean Phase 2 Panyard?
Yeah. Maybe it starts there, I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe we could get one of the representatives from Pride Trinidad to come on the show and talk about it.
Yeah, no problem. Is Rudy Hanamji? Did we speak with him last time?
We spoke with Rudy. When last we spoke with Rudy?
I think it's Hanamji, not so?
Yeah, but I'm not.
I think that's the person's name, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still the head of Pride TNT. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have a caller there. Caller, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning, Lincoln.
Hello?
Yeah, morning.
Yes,
morning.
Yeah, audio really crappy this morning. Anyway, did we discuss the viral video that with the police officer on the road traffic exercise with the driver overtake the whole line of traffic?
No, nobody had discussed that, but you could go ahead and discuss it.
I don't even know the video you're talking about, so you need to explain.
I saw the video.
Richard, you need to get my number so I could keep you in the loop where these things.
So you can send all the police video for you, Richard.
Anyway, I want to elaborate on that video because it have positives and it have negatives. Now, being in a former protective services member, I'm not angry with the police officer for drawing his fire when you see a vehicle flying down a long line of traffic. In this time, because you don't know what this vehicle having it, what is the intent of this driver, what is nothing. So your first action is to draw your primary main of defense. However, after that, I don't even have a problem with you accosting this driver with the obscenities because the man is doing something clearly committing an offense. So sometimes it is once your adrenaline starts to rush, you start to cuss and get on, and I understand that. I've been there, I've done that. My problem is when you encounter the individual, maybe you ascertain they're just doing something wrong, they're just overtaking. Your course of action after that is just to tell the man go back in the line and continue anyway. You ain't search the vehicle to see if it had no guns. You ain't check for the driver's permit. You ain't check for insurance. You ain't do no part of policing at all. All you do after that is tell him and go back in the line and continue on the way. That, to me, in my opinion, is poor policing. That is why we have so much guns on the street. Alexander said it. Who controls the street? That is one thing I agree with Alexander that he said. One of the few things I should say, because he said some good things in the 8-year program on the Beyond the Tape. But one of the things that I vehemently agree with is who controls the street, controls the guns. And here you had a perfect opportunity to search a vehicle. They committed an offense. There was opportunities to ticket, to charge, to seize a vehicle, to search a vehicle, to do all it, at least check for license and insurance. You ain't do none of the above. You just tell him and go back in the line and continue on your way. You shooting in Gonzales, the guns came in a vehicle.
Yeah, Lincoln, I hear you.
Used to pull up on him and them. So the guns are transported in vehicles, up and down the place. All the shootings, the guns are in vehicles. And police should be emphasizing more on roadblocks, road traffic exercises to get these guns off the streets. But and intelligence and strategic targeting of people the intelligence give them that people have guns and whatnot.
Okay, thanks very much, Lincoln.
Lincoln, I want to respond to that because I hear you. I saw the video. I thought the police exercised real patience with that guy. But guess what? If the video had gone the other way, in other words, if the police had said, pull aside, give me this, give me that, and so as a surgery man, we would have been saying something different this morning. We would have been saying it was an overkill because all the man do is attempt to overtake an accident scene. And we would have been saying the opposite, So sometimes the police, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. It happens. Most times I prefer when they just leave citizens who just ignorant and let them go instead of making a big scene about it. I prefer if they leave ignorant people, let them go away. Because the man was clearly being a little ignorant and decided to pull up and keep the traffic to film the police to get his name and badge number. He could have simply go on the side of the road to and park up and come back and ask for the police identification. But guess what? It happens. That's how that one went. Yeah, and Chevron, you're right. The driver sounded entitled. He even might have even been sounding like a policeman too, when he insisted on getting the information. You know what I mean? But that's what happens.
All right, poll time.
Yeah, poll time, Richard. Do you support that state boards need to be more ethnically diverse? Do you support that state boards need to be more ethnically diverse? All right, so people take note of the question, right? In other words, it's not that you disagree with in a way, it's that you disagree with the composition of state boards, right? But do you believe they need to be more ethnically diverse? Let's start the voting, all right? And Far Rockaway jump out quick. No. Well, surprise, surprise. Mrs. R, yes. You ready, Richard?
Yeah, I'm writing.
Wayne Joseph, yes. Marlon Motley, yes. Josie Richardson, yes. Brent Hackshaw, yes. Trini Gets Fit, yes. Margaret Thomas, yes. Ava Smith, yes. Where did they? Lester Cragwell, yes. Kazim Mohammed, yes. Valerie Mendoza, yes. Rena Jennings, yes. Sherwin Kerr, yes. Far Rockaway, that's not true. Well, it's not true in terms of qualifications, but it also should not be true in terms of race. Joyce Phillips, yes. Garfield Hazel, yes. Ricardo Jeffers, yes. Magic, yes. Diane Payne, yes. Charmaine Bernard, yes. Suzanne Jessup, yes. Alice Sahad, yes. Just a Nice Guy, yes. And I took note of your recommendation earlier on Just a Nice Guy. We'll work on that. We'll try to get Dr. Raj. Kurt Hope from Nashville, yes. Junior Alfred, yes. Melissa, yes. Siobhan Shogun, yes. Andre, the Homeland Minister. We've been trying, Andre. Ambrose Blair didn't vote, but I suspect he means yes. Classic Brother, yes. CJ, yes. Julia Batiste, yes. Michael Oliver, yes. Andre Reno, yes. Helen McCarthy, yes. Wayne Ramsey, yes. And just to respond to a comment that Far Rockaway made earlier on about the composition of the NCC board. I don't know if you know, the NCC board is one of the few boards. You must have the heads of the different people who control Carnival. Pancho and Bego chairman must be on the board. And Calypso Tuco chairman must be on the board. TTCBA chairman must be on the board. So that's why there is that diversity in that particular board.
And there's only one woman on the board.
And there's only one woman.
We can look at it another way also. Then we have to get more females balanced. But Zena, good morning. How do you vote?
Morning again. I just want to add to what Wendell said a far Rockaway.
No,
everything everybody say without knowing what's really going on in Trinidad.
No. Zena, you voting, yes or no? Zena, you voting? All right, okay. Thanks very much, Zena.
Yeah, Far Rockaway probably doesn't understand, but he confirms it. He said, "Okay, Wendell, understood." That's how that board is diverse, Far Rockaway, because of those heads of different organizations must be part of the board.
All right, 7 o'clock news is next.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Thursday, July 17th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Government consultations on Trinidad and Tobago's proposed Stand Your Ground legislation will begin on July 22nd at the Barataria Community Center. Legal Affairs Minister Saddam Hussein emphasized the importance of public input on this novel piece of legislation, urging citizens to attend and share views. The proposed law aims to better protect people from home invasions and enhance safety in their homes. A draft bill and policy paper are already completed. The consultations will run through the end of July across all constituencies, with any necessary amendments made before the bill is introduced when Parliament reconvenes in September. Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association President Reginald McLean says the island's tourism sector may see improvements following productive talks with ministers Satyakama Maharaj and Kennedy Swarat Singh. However, he stressed that limited airlift remains a major hurdle, especially during busy weekends when large events crowd available flights. McLean noted that weekday bookings remain low across Tobago's 3,000 rooms. To address challenges including inconsistent air access and low investment, the THTA will host a tourism forum titled Fuel of the Future on July 24th at Magdalena Grand Resort. State-owned CPEP has accused its former board of being misled into unlawfully extending 336 contracts worth an estimated $1.4 billion based on what it claims was a fraudulent claim of cabinet approval. In documents filed on July 14th, CPEP's legal team stated no evidence exists that cabinet approved the extensions. Sworn affidavits from CPEP's ex-CEO Keith Eddy and legal head Nicole Gopal Singh initially claimed such approval existed, but checks by the Cabinet Secretariat and Ministry of Public Utilities found no cabinet note or decision on the matter. CPEP is seeking a court-ordered stay and intends to refer the matter to the fraud squad. The injunction hearing is set for July 18th. A retired couple in Crown Trace Enterprise were violently robbed during a home invasion early Sunday morning. Two intruders entered their bedroom around 7:45 a.m., announced a robbery, and physically assaulted the 61-year-old man before binding both victims. The assailants stole electronic items, including phones, an iPad, and a gold Hyundai Accent valued at $150,000. Police believe entry was gained by prying open a burglar-proof window. The male victim received treatment at Chaguana's health facility and is in stable condition. The stolen car and 3 devices were later recovered by Task Force North. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, Syria's foreign ministry has condemned Israel's targeting of government institutions and civilian facilities in Damascus following aerial attacks. after Israeli strikes targeted the Ministry of Defense building and areas around the presidential palace, Syria reports several civilians were killed and dozens injured, with extensive damage to infrastructure and public services. The Foreign Ministry accused Israel of carrying out a flagrant assault in pursuit of a deliberate policy to inflame tensions and undermine security in Syria. Syria holds Israel fully responsible for what it calls a dangerous escalation. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Men, women, tired of the invasive, painful old methods of testing prostate and breasts?
The Institute of Health and Fitness Clinic and Wellness Center offers comprehensive and non-invasive diagnostic testing, which indicates the nature and extent of diseases and tests your nutritional levels. Our quick testing can identify early signs of problems by evaluating many of the bodily functions, such as male and female sexual function, gastrointestinal function, liver function, kidney function, thyroid function, heart and brain function, and also cancer testing. Results are comparable with other medical lab tests without the use of needles or embarrassing specimen cups, and is pain-free. We also offer all natural treatments. Visit us now at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna, or call 492-7397 or 289-6363.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
All on we is day one. We fretting since day one. From night till the day come. We under the same sun. Jump up with your day one. Don't stop, we afraid come. We all in the stadium. Drinking from the same rum. If you take a knife and you cut my skin, I sure you go see. We share the same blood. Yeah. All are we coming from different ends. Look deep in your history. We from the same cloth. Go tell me about you, more blessed than me. Take away everything and then tell me who you'll be. Take a drink with me. It don't matter where you're from. All are we is one. Put up your hand because we is more than friend. Jump up, we is more than friend. More precious than gold and gem. We take like a wedding ring. I said we is more than friend. All are we is more than friend. Together like ink and pen. Be closer than 9 and 10. All are we is day one. We bet it since day one. From night till the day come. We under the same sun. Jump up with your day one. Don't stop being afraid come. We all in the stadium. Drinking from the same rum. When we linking up to go fet and thing, we don't really business, but to win this squad. Come in. Hey. To see them girl down the wine and twist. Say that is we interest. That is what we love. We don't care about no damn VIP. Just keep me with all we friend. We fetting like family. Yeah. Who want drink with me? Just show me your eyes and shop. This party turn up. Put up your hand because we is more than friend. Jump up, we is more than friend. More precious than gold and gem. Be tight like a wedding ring. I say we is more than friend. All our we is more than friend. Together like ink and pen. We closer than 9 and 10. All our we is day one. We fetting since day one. From night till the day come. We under the same sun. Jump up with your day one. Bust up, we afraid come. We all in the same.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Same clothes, one love.
All of we is day one, right? So we play that for all the day one listeners. be here from day one or even from day 20. The main thing is that you are here with us, and this is New Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean, taking you above and beyond. Look out for the Drive Time Exchange with Tony Fraser. We've got a whole lot of great conversation taking place up inside of the Drive Time Exchange. That comes between 4 and 6 p.m. Monday to Thursday. We get great conversation there with Tony Fraser. Today we are looking at AI, how you can utilize it, what it can do for you, all the different ways that you can use it in your everyday life. We have an expert coming to talk about that inside of the Drive Time Exchange. And of course, remember that is your next YouTube engagement between 4 and 6 p.m. right here on New Era TT Radio. So let's take a couple messages as we get back to the breakfast show.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Looking for trusted, affordable security and property services? Horatio Services has you covered across Trinidad and Tobago. We offer battle security, canine patrols, 24/7 protection, and all sorts of private investigations, discreet, professional, and effective. But that's not all. We also provide construction. From building to renovation, we bring your vision to life. Landscaping, keep your outdoors looking sharp and inviting. Maintenance, repairs, upkeep, and everything in between. At Horatio Services, you get professionalism, reliability, and personal care. Whether it's safety or property support you need, visit us at Marino Street, Arima, or call 388-7070. Today, Horatio Services, protection, precision, peace of mind.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box. So we're back on the breakfast show into our second hour. Of course, we have an interview shortly with Dr. Lall Sawh, which will be an exciting and interesting interview, which you should not miss. But now we're just going to wrap up our poll before we get into our interview with Dr. Sawh. Wendell, any more votes?
Yes, we do. We have Miguel. You ready for them? Miguel Gonzalez, yes. Doreen Pierre, yes. Michael Robinson, yes. That's it. And Susie B also says yes. Those are our votes.
And Sir Charles, any more votes on the poll this morning?
Yeah. So Pauline says yes, and Archbishop Ashton Clark says yes. Junior says yes. Horatio says yes. Judith says yes. Zena says hell yes. And Cynthia says no. And I think that is what I have for you guys so far.
Well, it's not so far. That's it.
Yeah, at this point.
So our morning poll this morning was: do you support that state boards need to be more ethnically diverse? We had 44 people voting on the poll this morning, and of the 44 people voting on the issue this morning, and of course this was trending on social media yesterday. Of the 44 people voting, 42 of you said yes, you think that state boards need to be more ethnically diverse, and 2 of you said no. That's it for our poll this morning. The yeas have it. The poll is now done, people. Badam. No more voting. We're done. Right. Okay?
Scorpion Pepper, I missed your vote. My apologies.
Yep.
But we do have Dr. Lall Sawh in early, so we will take him earlier than normal because we know that a lot of people are looking forward to this interview. A lot of Dr. Sawh is going to save. Is he in, Richard? I want him to hear me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Sawh. Dr. Lall Sawh, urologist. Well, let me let Dr. Sawh introduce himself because he is about to save lots of lives here this morning. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Sawh.
Thank you very much, Richard and Wendell, for having me talk on this very, very important subject, which is really close to my heart and to my prostate as well, because men are so lackadaisical about their prostate health in this country, and we lose a lot of men annually from sheer slackness. So I'm happy to have the opportunity to use your well-televised program and broadcasted program to hopefully reach men out there and get rid of some misgivings that they may carry.
Yeah. Is it slackness? Is it slackness or is it fear? Because I mean, a lot of men are afraid of facing certain realities, huh?
Yeah, but if you don't face the reality early, it's going to take you wicked. If you face it early, you can cure it. These days, prostate cancer is curable. I repeat, these days, prostate cancer is curable once it's caught early, and it usually is caught early long before you've had symptoms, Wendell. And that's the problem. Men, I have no problem. Why am I going to the doctor for? A waste of time. And that's the attitude our men have. Wait until it breaks before you fix it. That's not so with prostate.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of men. I'll be jumping straight into the conversation, Dr. Sawh.
Yeah.
I know a lot of men may do the PSA, the blood test, in terms of checking their prostate health. Is the PSA sufficient, or is it that they need to get the physical exam too?
Richard, that's an excellent question, and I'm glad you started with that. It is not sufficient as a standalone test. In fact, the guy who invented PSA stresses that PSA was never invented to diagnose prostate cancer. It was invented to monitor the disease, having made the diagnosis by other modalities. So it's not a standalone test. It has to be done with the digital as well. There is technology on the forefront, which within the next 5 years may do away with the rectal, but for now, the digital is mandatory. And if your doctor says you don't need it, change your doctor one time.
What are some of the early signs that you may be on your way to prostate cancer?
0, no signs. You're fine, but you're at risk. And the at-risk men are men over 45 generally, all African men. Ethnicity is a real bugbear here because African men have the genetic weakness, if you want to call it a weakness, of developing prostate cancer. Men who've had families, like their father, their grandfather, or the paternal uncle, genetic again, are high at risk. So you have the signals there based on your genetic makeup, your ethnicity, your age, and also your sexual behavior. Wendell, sorry to bring that up, but it's an important thing. Right. I know I might disappoint you and Richard here when I say what I have to say.
That's quite all right.
Okay.
But when you say sexual behavior, what exactly do you mean, though?
Well, technology and research goes from one end of the pendulum to the other. And we used to be taught in the early days that men who don't have sex don't get prostate cancer. Well, of course, that myth was thrown through the window when we start seeing all men at risk, including reverends and priests and so. And we assume that they weren't having sex. But the fact is, what we have found that men who have multiple partners expose themselves more likely to develop the disease by virtue of contracting a virus named HPV. In other words, HPV really is carried by women for various reasons. And if you had many female partners, and one of them is likely to have it, because the more you have, the more likely you're exposed, and you contract the HPV as a man, remember, it's a virus. There's no drug to kill viruses yet. If you contract the HPV, it has been proven that this HPV virus increases the risk of that man developing prostate cancer. So, on practical terms, a man with multiple partners is likely to develop a risk factor, which is the HPV. So we kind of recommend a relationship that is monotonous. Sorry, Freudian slip. Monogamous.
Monogamous.
Richard.
No.
You're funny, Dr. Sawh.
This is consistent with the conversation I had.
Freudian slip.
It's consistent with the conversation I had with Dr. Sawh yesterday. When I told him, he told me something called Richard and his name, and what it reminded him of. I said, well, you can tell him that on air, you know.
My doghouse is not air conditioned, Wendell, and my wife probably listening to this program. And her surname was Raguba. And if Richard's name was Richard Raguba, I was not going to join this conversation because I get
So thank God for the sing then.
That's Savior. That's Savior.
Savior. But so, Dr. Sawh, we did a program on Monday talking about what some of the things that men would suffer from, including what we call a pee stain. We started out with a pee stain. In other words, that drip you have after you urinate, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what prompted, of course, this. Is that a sign of anything?
Yeah, you're not supposed to be wetting your pants, eh? And this is why fellas who have prostate issues shouldn't wear khaki pants. It shows easily. You have to wear dark pants. So what color pants you guys have on there?
I have one of boxers.
The pee stain means that you're leaking a bit of urine when you think you're finished. Mm-hmm. That is not something you should accept, and that is something you should investigate. It may not be a sign of prostate issue, it might be a sign of a bladder infection, but it's not normal to have that what you call a pee stain. It really means you should have it checked by a doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In terms of, as we're talking prostate, and you have the issue of enlarged prostate, which older men also suffer from. Right. How much of a problem is this? And if you, for example, discover it early on that your prostate is being enlarged, if that's how you put it? Because I think it sometimes connects to your lower testosterone. You could correct me if I'm wrong. As you get older, your testosterone drops. But how much of a problem is this? How much should men monitor this?
Richard, you're correct. As you get older, the testosterone drop. But it's so strange that even though your testosterone drops as you get older, the prostate enlarges as we get older. That's one of the inequalities we can't come to terms with. Why, when your testosterone drops, the prostate enlarges? And as you rightly said, the prostate requires testosterone for its growth. So why don't I just put the norm in perspective first? I can show you this here, a little model. Mm-hmm. Here you are. Now the prostate is this little organ right here, at the bottom here. This is our bladder here. That little hole you see there is where the urine comes from the kidney and drains into the bladder. The bladder is nothing more than a reservoir. So when the urine fills there, the void to pass urine, the urine goes through this tract here. But you notice where it passes, smack through the middle of the prostate, that channel right there, see? Now, why the Lord put the prostate around that area, it really, really baffles me. But I'm happy, because if he didn't put it there, I wouldn't have a job. So by virtue of it being there, it can cause trouble with the flow. The first thing goes is the flow. As you can see, if that's a gland and urine is coming through this critical holes here, and if this gland enlarges and starts encroaching upon this urethra, as it's called, you're going to have flow issues. That's the first thing that happens. When the gland enlarges large enough, it goes into the bladder here. Then you have bladder issue. And this is why men get stoppage of water when the prostate enlarges from either cancer or benign non-cancerous enlargement, because this critical outlet here is choked up, as it were. So the first signs will be flow signs. And usually that is long after the pathology has started in men, especially cancer. Mm-hmm. Now, benign enlargement tends to affect this area here, what we call the central or middle zone here, right here.
So you'll find that a man who has benign enlargement theoretically may present earlier because he has flow problem. He's not peeing as he should. He's wetting the floor, as it were, and he's having that drip you spoke about. Unfortunately, cancer of the prostate starts in the periphery, which is out here, generally speaking. So you can see what happens. If you have a disease starting here, by the time it reaches here to cause symptoms, it's kind of late because it can go the other way and spread to other organs. And that's why it's critical to diagnose it when it's still confined by this capsule or shell out here. That's when we can cure it. And that's why when you put a finger in, it comes up here, you see, that's out in the back here. But it's going to the front, to the back here. So many times by putting the finger, the DRE or the digital exam, you can feel the periphery of the prostate. And to the experienced finger, you will know whether there is some sort of pathology taking place there by virtue of the texture, the hardness, the lumpiness, or the firmness. So a quick finger can diagnose that there is something happening in the periphery. Periphery is bad news. That's where the prostate cancer starts. And that's the importance of doing the finger test, so you can feel this peripheral zone here, right? In benign enlargement, which affects the middle part mainly, if you put your finger here, you may get an idea of the size of the prostate, but there's no way you can feel the middle part here. So that's why for cancer, the DRE is so vital to get that clue that something amiss is happening at the periphery of the prostate.
Is there any other reason why your prostate might be enlarging? Is there other medical causes?
Well, as I alluded to in the beginning, your age, as we get older, it gets bigger. Why? I mean, remember, the prostate's only function is really when we are young, it produces prostatic fluid to keep our sperms alive. Why in the world would we want this gland to get bigger as we get older? Who wants kids when they get older? But yet it gets bigger as we get older. That's a mystery in medical science, why this thing gets bigger. And as you said, Richard, when our testosterone is dropping. So it doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. So if you're at risk, if you have a family history, or you're African, or you're over 45, you are the kind of target for the prostate enlargement, either cancerous or non-cancerous, which is called BPH. So in other words, you got to be on the alert after 45. Some authorities say 40. I think if you're an African and you have a genetic risk, 40 is probably your cutoff or start zone for checking.
And how often should you check, Dr. Sawh?
Before 60, we said annually. After 60, we said biannually, twice a year. Mm-hmm. Or if symptoms appear in between, don't wait for the 6 month or the 1 year check. Go to your doctor, let him check you early.
Right. And those symptoms would be, of course, some of the things you described earlier on in terms of a slow to urine. But what about if you're urinating plenty, often?
Good point, because that means that the prostate might have enlarged into the bladder and goes up here, into the bladder up here, and it irritates the bladder. So the bladder wants to get rid of it, so it keeps contracting as if it were urine in there. So yes, going often, nighttime or daytime, is not a good sign as well. It may not necessarily be a prostatic problem, but your doctor will differentiate whether it's a bladder issue or a prostatic issue or just a urinary tract infection. So yes, it's a sign, especially if you're disturbed from sleep at night, more than once or twice, more than twice, I would say, in a regular intake of fluid. You don't drink a cup of coffee before you go to bed and not expect to get up to pee. So in a reasonable situation, you really should get up no more than one time at night, if at all, to pass urine. But the flow is a critical thing. You see the flow dropping. As men say, they start to wash their shoes instead of hit the wall. When that happens, something is encroaching upon that urethra. Mm-hmm. And if you're getting very often to pee, that's another sign. Mm-hmm. Some people wait for blood in the urine. That really is a most unusual sign. We don't see much blood in the urine in patients unless it's massive. So don't wait for those worrisome signs. As soon as you start to see things differently, go to your doctor, have your DRE done, and have your PSA taken, as you said before.
And large prostates are treatable?
Oh, yes. We have a lot of medications now that can shrink it. And for those patients where they don't respond and they continue to have a miserable lifestyle because of the enlargement, we have surgical options which are non-cutting these days. So we have a lot of options in medical and non-surgical options too, and surgical options.
Is there any, you talked about operations. Is there medicine? Are there medicines, tablets that you could take that could prevent the onset of it?
Well, we don't recommend taking a tablet if you don't have any symptoms, right? Because with any medication, if you take it long enough, you're going to get resistant to it. So why curtail your possibility of getting a good result later on? So we don't recommend treating it. What we recommend, which may help to a small extent, is a dietary change if you didn't do it already, to have more vegetables in the diet. We have found scientifically that cooked tomatoes, tofu, tend to retard the growth of the prostate. But you can't wait until you're 50 and say, okay, we're going to start to cook a lot of tomatoes and eat now. It really is a dietary change that should happen long before, if you're going to make any significant difference to the growth rate of the prostate. So the truth is, what we eat may influence it, but is minimally so. We've also found that red meat is not good for prostate because it does encourage enlargement, and there's scientific data for this. And there's some authorities that say that the red meat may actually potentiate a cancerous development in the prostate. That data is a bit weak.
All right. That's interesting to hear, because you just made everybody a little depressed there, that is, you're not eating red meat.
Well, you could have seafood, you could have poultry. It doesn't mean you have to stop it, but certainly be on the alert that red meat may be a factor. Maybe, the word is maybe. Mm-hmm. So in other words, why eat it every day? Avoid it if you can.
Yeah.
How problematic from a statistical point of view, if you have the statistics, is prostate cancer and prostate enlargement in Trinidad?
Prostate cancer is the commonest cancer in men in this country over the age of 45. It's commoner than all other cancers, including colon cancer. So there you go. If exact figures we don't have a good, well-kept cancer registry, but I can tell you for sure it's the commonest cancer in men. Enlargement of the prostate is common, but because it's easily treatable, it's not a major issue as such. But prostate cancer is a very, very important issue because of the implications. Remember, this cancer, if it spreads to you, where it loves to go to your bone, you're going to have severe back pain, severe bone pain, and ultimately, you're going to be bedridden with severe pain, easy fractures of the bone, paraparesis, paraplegia. It's a horrible disease, And all that is avoidable had you caught it early and dealt with it. And I see this every month in my office, somebody who missed the boat, which is sad.
Yeah. How do they define the term stoppage of water? What exactly is that?
Yeah, exactly what it says. When that gland enlarges, the prostate, and blocks off the passageway here, this passageway we talked about, the bladder can't push past the obstruction. It's like taking a water hose and putting your hand around the hose. Your hand becomes the prostate. And if you squeeze it enough, you cut out the flow of water. That's stoppage of water. In the old days, men used to talk about stoppage of water, but they couldn't differentiate whether it's from non-cancerous enlargement or cancerous, because it was not easy to diagnose it in the old days. So the loose term was stoppage of water. And many men died from stoppage of water. But in truth and fact, they probably died from cancer of the prostate, because both benign and cancerous prostate can cause stoppage of water. So stoppage of water doesn't equate to cancer of the prostate. It equates to a prostatic enlargement.
Yeah. Someone is asking in the chat, what does DRA mean?
Digital rectal examination. We changed the terms from PSA because PSA has other connotations. So we keep far from the union. PSA means prostatic specific antigen. PR. We changed from PR because that has other connotation, public relations. DRE doesn't have good public relations, but it tells you what it is. Digital rectal examination. And it sounds very scientific. And when you tell the patient, come, let's do a DRE, well, he's very happy about that. If you tell him I'm going to examine the prostate by putting a finger in the bottom, well, he ain't happy with that at all. A DRE sounds like a big deal.
I remember a story that a former prime minister gave about a friend of his who died because he didn't want that finger in his bottom.
Yeah. You will be amazed at the stories the men give you why they don't want it. A lot of this emanates from conversations in a rum shop, and comments like, "Oh, don't go and get that, and you'll get to like it, or you want a second opinion." In fact, I try to engage the patients when I'm doing it by conversing with them, so I distract them, because you need to get the patient cooperation.
Yes.
And I would normally converse them, something to distract them. And this guy was answering me, "Yes, Dr. Spock." "No, Dr. Spock." So I said, "Why you call me Dr. Spock? You know my name." I said, "Well, Doc, you have gone where no man has gone before."
Well, I have a doctor. His name is Brian Bukar. She said, when I'm examining you, if I'm clapping at the same time, then we have a problem.
Brian is a great guy. Yeah. They have a lot of jokes about it, but in fact, this is a serious matter. And the
Yes,
DRE
it is
takes
serious.
less than 30 seconds, and it gives vital information. By no means is it 100% accurate, and don't get me wrong, but it certainly does assist in the diagnostic process.
Right. A question in the chat again, Dr. Sawh. Can one remove the prostate, and what are the effects of that?
Well, that's a good point. Prostate removal is a major surgery. It does carry risk, both from the anesthetic end and from the surgical end. So you can't justify doing an operation because you're afraid it's going to turn the gland a little cancerous and subject the patient to that risk. It's like carrying the argument and say, well, why don't you remove the tonsils when you're born? Why don't you remove the appendix when you're born? Why don't you remove the gallbladder? These are things that give trouble later on. You can't justify any kind of surgical operation unless there's an indication or many indications that absolutely require you to have surgery. Surgery is not a walk in the park, and nobody, absolutely nobody, should accept surgical procedure of any sort without having proper clinical and scientific justification. And I say that very, very, very focusedly because a lot of people are being advised to remove the prostate with minimal symptoms, with minimal evidence, and no patient should accept that. What you do? Get a second opinion. Don't let anybody remove your prostate because it might serve his purpose or her purpose. This is major surgery, and you must take into account all your symptoms, all your scientific data, and wait with the help of your doctor. Do I need this? Are there alternatives? And if not, should I go ahead and do it? And how should I do it? I mean, it's not a conversation you have lightly. It's a very important conversation. And just to remove it because the doctor says so is not good enough. You need to be part of that decision process.
Would an enlarged prostate or any onset of prostate illness cause erectile dysfunction? Because you know that's the biggest thing, a fear of a man.
Well, the greatest fear of man is if you have to do anything on the prostate, including treat it. You affect the nerves because, unfortunately, the nerves of erection are located in the capsule of the prostate, right there. Out here, right out here. So you see, so it is entwined with the capsule, and that's why any surgical procedure, especially when we do the radical procedure to remove the gland, we have to be very cautious to try to save those nerves. And even so, cancer of the prostate is a bitch. Even so, one of the route that cancer uses to escape from the prostate is along the nerve sheaths of the nerves of erection. So it may involve the nerves of erection from day one, from the start. And that is why it's so entwined, so closely related to each other. And they're right, because you have to be very careful with the nerves of erection there.
Yeah.
In terms of if I just wanted to slant towards kidney health, because I know how much of a problem is kidney health in Trinidad and Tobago, because you hear a lot of times of dialysis and diabetes, which affects kidney health and stuff like that. How pervasive a problem is it, and what should people be doing about their kidney health?
That question is best answered, Richard, by a nephrologist who deals with the medical treatment of kidney. We deal with the surgical treatment of kidney cancer, kidney stone, that kind of stuff. But the medical aspect is where, and I know it's common, where our colleagues in nephrology will see a lot of kidney damage leading to kidney failure and dialysis from mismanaged on the patient's part, diabetes and hypertension. The two biggest risk factors are diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes, and hypertension. They are the two major destroyers of kidney. And if you destroy your kidney tissue, it does not grow back. And if you destroy enough, the kidneys cannot do enough work to get rid of your waste. You go into kidney failure, and of course, you end up in dialysis, which is a horrible way to end up. That is a problem because we have a large diabetic and hypertensive population in this country. So my nephrological colleague will best answer that, but I'm sure they will tell you it's a big problem.
But you mentioned kidney stone. What causes a kidney stone?
I was going to ask that.
Again, there's several multifactorial. One is genetic. We see it in families, whether it's because they have a common diet or whether it's truly genetic, we're not sure. The kind of patient we get it in are those who don't drink enough water. That's priority number one, water. 6 to 8 glasses are minimum requirement in a hot part of the world like here to keep the urine diluted. People who over imbibe in calcium products, doesn't mean you have to stop it, but if you over excessively use it. And people who have a high uric acid is made in the liver or it comes from red meat. Here we go to knock red meat again. And people who have a high uric acid, the uric acid crystals may crystallize in your joints and in the kidney and form a kidney stone. And that is a big problem because it's so painful.
Yeah, but in terms of kidney stones, Dr. Sawh, how would you treat it?
Because it causes so much pain, the patient comes early to his doctor, his or her doctor. And therefore, you catch it when it's usually small. 90%, I will say, are treatable and they are passable without any surgical intervention. If you catch it early and treat it aggressively, unless there's some abnormality in the urinary drainage system. But the majority of them pass, and the doctor simply has to provide medication for pain, and there are some medication that facilitate the passage of the kidney stone. So surgical intervention is required only in a few cases.
Yeah. How would a patient know that they get in a kidney stone or they have a kidney stone?
They will know. Kidney stone pain is worse, women tell me, worse than labor pain. It starts in the loin and goes to the groin, and it's associated oftentimes with vomiting or nausea, and it is the worst pain a human being can have. Women who have had babies will tell you, I'll have 10 more babies and have 1 more kidney stone. It's severe pain. That patient has to seek medical attention because it really, it drops him to the floor. It's severe pain, really severe pain. So there's no way you can ride it and get away with it.
If a patient comes to you with a kidney stone, even if it's small, like that 90% that you talk about, and they pee it out or however it exits, are they likely to get another one? Or?
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Once you form a kidney stone, the adage is you're going to get another one unless you change your fluid intake. Or if we get a stone that you pass, we analyze it. We get a chemistry of the stone, and then we kind of guide you with a diet that has low amounts of the culprit substances. It's not foolproof, but it's something we can do. It's something we have control over. Oh yeah, the risk is high.
Yeah. Okay. So, but outside of red meat, Dr. Sawh, what are some of the other things people should avoid?
In terms of kidney stone, you're talking about?
In terms of kidney stone, and even the issue of prostate, because red meat came up with prostate also.
Yeah. Red meat seems to be knocked all over now because apparently it has some, especially roasted or grilled red meat, because it releases the so-called bad substances. That's what the science tells us. Kidney stone wise, if you get an analysis from the kidney stone, you're well positioned to advise the patient on what to eat or what not to eat or what to be careful with. So you have a guidance. Prostate cancer is not that straightforward. We know red meat, we know cooked tomatoes and tofu probably help. And unfortunately, because of that, there were a lot of products selling over the counter containing all of these magic bullets, which are really useless. They're expensive and they're useless.
Explain magic bullets.
Magic bullet is if you take something that's going to help the pathology, right? None of those substances over the counter are FDA approved, which means they have not been scientifically proven.
Mm-hmm. What about these enhancers that men like to take to help with the aphrodisiac movements?
Yeah, well, a lot of them,
amorous movements.
A lot of them are not of no use. I mean, you have the newer ones that really do help with erection. I'm talking like the Viagra and the Cialis stuff. But you got to be careful. They shouldn't be taken that without a doctor examining them, make sure they need it, and also control the dosage, etc. But there are alternatives. You shouldn't just go take a tablet because you want to get very amorous in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. You know, I keep saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know why you want to do that?
Yeah. So the issue of what was I going to ask? Straight off my head. Sorry, I'll have to come back to it.
Are you willing to take some calls too, Dr. Sawh?
Of course.
Because we have a strong male presence on this platform.
Yeah, you know what it is, Dr. Sawh? Is it the digital exam for prostate health? Is it that a man should go to a urologist to get it done, or can they go to their GP?
Oh, no. The GPs are very, very capable of doing it themselves. There's no need to go to a urologist for that. He go to his regular doctor who will do the digital and the PSA. And if he or she finds any abnormality, then he or she will refer you to the urologist. Oh, no. The gatekeeper is the GP always.
Okay.
Yeah. What about the effects of alcohol on any of these diseases that we're talking about?
Alcohol, good point there. In excess may cause stoppage of water if you have a borderline enlargement, because it causes a little swelling in the bladder neck, right here we spoke about, this area here. And if you have a few drinks, especially a few quick drinks like beers, for instance, you're going to pour a lot of fluid into your bladder. And if the exit pathway is compromised and you're overfilling the reservoir, you can understand what will happen eventually. You overpower the ability of the reservoir to empty, And a lot of men get stoppage of water after dousing a couple beers, well, not a couple, maybe a dozen beers or so. So alcohol does. So that's why I advise men, you're going to have a night out and you're going to have a few beers or whatever you drink. No harm in going empty your bladder between your drinks. Keep the bladder pressure low so you don't compromise the ability of the bladder to empty. Pee. Nothing wrong with pee. Men can pee anywhere in this country.
Yeah. What you find happening sometimes, though, Dr. Sawh, is that you resist going to urinate, but then when you start, it's almost like if you can't stop.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Once you empty your bladder, that means your bladder really filled. Now, mind you, if you overfill that bladder and the emptying at the bladder neck is overpowered, you go to urinate, you're going to get trouble to start. Now your bladder is faced with a reservoir full of urine, and it has to build up a pressure to overcome the obstruction downstream. And it's not going to build up that pressure easily with a bladder full of urine. Right. So that's why you don't allow your bladder to get over-distended and compromise its ability to contract.
What are the risks, though? Because you've heard of people holding the pee. You know?
What mean? As I tell the patient, it doesn't turn into gold, you know. Why are you holding it for? You don't pee.
Yeah. So we take some of your calls, 281-1315, 281-1315. So you can get interactive with the conversation with Dr. Sawh. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, I'm waiting here how long to get you to talk to Dr. Sawh.
So talk.
Mr. Grant, you have to listen on your phone, not on the device you're hearing the program on. There'll be a delay. Go ahead and talk. Go ahead and ask. You have a question for Dr. Sawh?
Well, Dr. Sawh, I was one of your patients, in the early patient, and thank you. I reached 80. I came at you when I was about 35, 40. Right?
40 years ago, but I'm not 40 years of age yet, Mr. Grant. Go ahead.
Right? And all you're saying there, I can live with that. Because that is a very dangerous thing. And I talk to all my workers, and they never used to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
They used to laugh at me. I tell them I do the finger test. They say, I used to go by, they used to make fun at me and say, I go by the doctor, how the coconut, but doctor, pause straight. A good bit of them go on and leave me here still.
Correct.
Doctor last week was talking to one, he says 75 and he never check it. I said, boy, go and do it. Go and do it. But I know that other people, and when they go and check your pause straight there because all them women you have.
I do it all the time. Mr. Grant. Mr. Grant, what are you saying on national radio here?
A joke I'm making. Yeah.
I know.
My doctor told me, the African man, they will never discuss, very serious thing now, never discuss the prostrate, the head. Dr. Mohammed in Bahataria, they will cook out how much woman they went with, how much money they drink, how much this they have. They will never discuss man to man. Say, boy, when last you go by doctor? And Dr. Sawh, I come by you twice already. I did a biopsy by you. Don't buy Mokorapo by the stadium. Okay, all the best.
Thank you,
all right, Mr. Grant. There's a question on the chat here, Dr. Sawh. Does sonic treatment of kidney stones work?
Sorry, what kind of treatment?
Sonic. I'm not sure if that's what the people want to say.
You're probably thinking about ultrasound. Yeah, they have several energy forms we use these days. Laser is one, ultrasound is one, shockwave is another. We have several forms of energy which allow us to treat the kidney stone without cutting. So it depends on the stone, what kind of stone, the location, the anatomy of the urinary tract. So there's several factors that have to be taken into account before we pick the right technology to give you the best results.
Caller, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, Sir Charles. Yeah. Hello?
Go ahead, Ms. Mendoza.
Yes. So, you know, I'm so happy I'm watching this program because I have a son and he's not here, so I could always impart knowledge on him to him and so on. But so, doctor, you know something? You are so very jovial, and that is how you're supposed to be, because some of these coward men who don't want to go and test their prostate, they're frightened. So you have to be comical with them to put them at ease before you start to use your fingers. So that is good. So, but my father had his prostate was resting on his bladder many years ago. That was he was like in his 80s, and that he developed that at 80 something, about 81, and they put in a catheter for him, and he will not, for God's sake, keep it on. So I want to find out if that is something that a catheter, if it's painful. He took it out on 3 different occasions. He had to be rushed to the hospital. And on the 3rd time, they said it, he was infected so badly that he did not survive. So I want to find out how long how long a catheter is kept on and if it is painful. Thank you.
Thanks very much for your comment about the comical. My hero is Richard Raghubar. I love his comics a lot. I follow him on his show, but I don't go to his show because, going out. A catheter is a very, very painful thing for a man to wear. It's annoying. It's discomforting. It's really, really a bad deal for a patient, especially at 80. If you leave the catheter long enough, you're going to get infection, and that's another issue altogether. But there's no need to keep the catheter for life. If you have to wait for your procedure, whatever you have waiting for to get it treated, it should be changed every 6 to 8 weeks to prevent infection. And your doctor will have to assess the prostate to see first to rule out cancer, and if it's just benign enlargement, to see whether it's amenable to medical therapy to shrink it. And if you shrink it enough, the patient gets rid of the catheter. Or alternatively, this thing is not going to shrink, it's too big, the patient needs surgery. Because these days, the surgery is fairly straightforward, anesthesia is fairly straightforward as well, with very minimal downtime, down side effects, risk. But all those things are predetermined before a doctor recommends any kind of invasive procedure for you. But to answer you directly, a man should not be condemned to wearing a catheter. That's a miserable life. Whether you're 40 or 80, it's a miserable life.
Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning all. Doctor, about 4 months ago, I went for a routine blood test, and my PSA was above 4. I think it was 5. So I was sent to a neurologist, and first thing he said was, "Well, you have to check and see if you have, if it's cancer."
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him, "How you do it with the rectal examination?" He said, "No, that only checks for the enlargement." I said, "So what he'll do? Go and take out a piece, like pieces?" He said, "No, because you can take out a piece and take out a good piece and miss the bad pieces." He said that what they do is an MRI to check it. And I wasn't in for that because I'm claustrophobic. So what he said, "Listen, come back in 3 months," which was about 2 weeks ago. He said, "But before you come, take another blood test." I took another blood test. It's now down to 388. I don't know how it went down. But what do you think about 2 things? What about the MRI to check for cancer? And why do you think it went back down to 388?
Okay, there are 3 reasons why your PSA will go up, right? First of all, you have to make sure your lab is credible. There are some labs that are not credible doing PSAs. So you're going to make sure your doctor trusts his lab. Every doctor will know where he has faith in. The 3 causes of elevated PSA are: 1, regular enlargement. If the prostate is very big, the PSA is going to go up. Second one is infection. If you have any infection in the prostate, prostatitis, the PSA pops up. And third, of course, is cancer of the prostate. So what we tend to do, having done a digital, if you do a good digital, you may know whether there's probability of a prostatitis. With a PSA marginally elevated like yours, my modus operandi would be to put you on an antibiotic that penetrates the prostate for 2 weeks, do over the PSA after. If it jumps back to normal, I just put you on a watch. Every 6 months, I'll watch your PSA. Getting to the MRI is the best study we have now to do a survey of the prostate if the PSA is above the normal. It's called a multiple parametric MRI. It focuses the prostate and it identifies any focus in the prostate that is suspicious. It does not diagnose cancer, but it points you to a suspicious area. Added to that now, we have a new technology on the marketplace called a transperineal prostate biopsy. This is where we take a targeted biopsy of those areas the MRI points us to. The old days of doing the transrectal biopsy should be abandoned because of the risk of bleeding and infection, and it's very inaccurate. That is not a targeted biopsy. A transperineal goes straight away. You want your biopsy needle to go, guided by your MRI. So your MP-MRI is excellent if the PSA persists up to give your doctor indication for a biopsy. And it's very straightforward. You get a score from your radiologist. It's called a PIRAD score. And if you get a score of 1 and 2, it's usually benign. 3, equivocal. 4 or 5, you need to have a biopsy. Transperineal, not transrectal, which is the focus biopsy on those areas of suspicion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thank
Any
you.
other call?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other calls? I have a somebody on the chat, Melchizedek said, they have seen some medical institutions advising clients of prostate massage to relieve discomfort. What exactly is that? And is that advisable?
That is not scientific at all. Tell them to drop that, forget about that. Prostate massage is BS.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's as simple as you could put.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it means. And it's taken zinc helpful in reducing prostate swelling.
In the old days, it was thought that zinc was very helpful in preventing prostatic growth and cancer. But that has been dropped. Zinc is no longer, because they found zinc in the prostate, they figured it's good for the prostate. But the truth is the data has not been borne out as in fact, and we don't recommend zinc anymore. It's really a waste of time.
Are there any supplements that you could take that will be helpful or none really?
None. N-O-N-E, none.
Another question in the chat. Do men get urinary infection like ladies too, called cystitis?
There's a smart lady who sent you that chat. Ladies are more prone because of the anatomy. Men do get urinary tract infection, but they're usually an underlying cause, like an enlarged prostate or prostatitis or something like that. But women are more prone. Quite right. So men do get it, and we have to find out why they got it.
Would it have come from a woman?
Very unlikely. Very unlikely. Possible if you get enough bacteria coming up the urethra. Very unlikely. You get prostatitis from the lady, and that can go into a full-blown urinary tract infection.
We have a call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Morning. Dr. Sawh, morning.
Morning.
What is a normal level of PSA for someone, let's say, over 70?
All right.
That's a very good question, actually. And what he's getting at is that because...
What should your PSA level be when you're over 70?
Yeah, we got the question. Dr. Sawh is answering.
So
you can listen on the radio.
That's a very good question, because we have found that as we get older, the PSA naturally rises because the gland gets a bit bigger. And if you can see this little chart here, this is a chart we have, and on one axis we have the PSA value coming up here. That's the PSA axis there, and the age here on the horizontal chart, on the horizontal axis. And you can see a natural rise in the PSA as we get older. So we use this as a reference chart to see what your PSA should be at various ages. This is not cast in stone. We use this as a guidance, but we have to look at the other important factors. Patient history, the diary finding, how high the PSA is, before just looking at the chart and say, okay, at age 70, we allow you 6. That is, we use this as a guide, not as an acid rule, acid test. So we have these charts we follow.
Okay. Dr. Sawh, do you need to get a referral to see you, or can you just come to see you?
Anybody can come and see me.
Okay.
I'm not that ugly. So the wife is.
So Brent, I'm sure that answers your question. Dr. Sawh, you care to provide a number? How do people contact you?
I ought not to give it on air because the medical board will jump on my neck and say I'm advertising.
Right.
It's easy to find my number. It's written in the books. Any of the medical centers, especially in South, will have my number.
Okay. All right. Great. No problem. Yes, he is very pleasant, Mrs. R. He is engaging. Any other calls, Mr. Davis?
Not at this moment. No calls.
Well, this is what we're going to have to end it anyway, because it's just about 8 o'clock. But Dr. Sawh, thank you so much for the conversation this morning. Very informative, very interesting speaking with you. I mean, it has been a pleasure.
Richard and Wendell, thank you very much for having me. And feel free to call on my skills or expertise or lack thereof anytime you're ready.
Of course we will. We are actually actively considering a medical segment to at least get for both men and women in terms of our listeners and viewers. All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sawh.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, of course, that was Dr. Lall Sawh. Well, he would have enlightened so many people this morning. He certainly enlightened me about some things. I mean, I had to check myself.
But you
Well,
have to
not
check yourself long
physically.
time. You have
Not
to check yourself
physically.
long time, eh? long time you needed to check yourself. But Dr. Sawh, was a pleasure. So it's always a pleasure talking about somebody who is passionate about what they do. And
Yes.
and you always know when somebody's passionate about what they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The information oozes out so easily.
Easy. Yes.
You know, it's so easily that to give the information, and you can see he's passionate. And certainly for men, check your prostate. That if it's any takeaway from the show this morning, go and get the exam.
Yes.
Get it done.
Especially African
GP.
men.
You can go to your GP. Yeah, get it done. And because, you know, we all want to have healthy lives as we grow older.
Yeah. One finger ain't gonna change your life. Trust me.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks again to Dr. Sawh. We're going to have him back at some point, I am sure. But you know what? 8 o'clock news is next.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Thursday, July 17th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Government consultations on Trinidad and Tobago's proposed Stand Your Ground legislation will begin on July 22nd at the Barataria Community Center. Legal Affairs Minister Saddam Hussein emphasized the importance of public input on this novel piece of legislation, urging citizens to attend and share views. The proposed law aims to better protect people from home invasions and enhance safety in their homes. A draft bill and policy paper are already completed. The consultations will run through the end of July across all constituencies, with any necessary amendments made before the bill is introduced when Parliament reconvenes in September. Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association President Reginald McLean says the island's tourism sector may see improvements following productive talks with ministers Satyakama Maharaj and Kennedy Swarat Singh. However, he stressed that limited airlift remains a major hurdle, especially during busy weekends when large events crowd available flights. McLean noted that weekday bookings remain low across Tobago's 3,000 rooms. To address challenges including inconsistent air access and low investment, the THTA will host a tourism forum titled Fuel of the Future on July 24th at Magdalena Grand Resort. State-owned CPEP has accused its former board of being misled into unlawfully extending 336 contracts worth an estimated $1.4 billion based on what it claims was a fraudulent claim of cabinet approval. In documents filed on July 14th, CPEP's legal team stated no evidence exists that cabinet approved the extensions. Sworn affidavits from CPEP's ex-CEO Keith Eddy and legal head Nicole Gopal Singh initially claimed such approval existed, but checks by the Cabinet Secretariat and Ministry of Public Utilities found no cabinet note or decision on the matter. CPEP is seeking a court-ordered stay and intends to refer the matter to the fraud squad. The injunction hearing is set for July 18th. A retired couple in Crown Trace Enterprise were violently robbed during a home invasion early Sunday morning. Two intruders entered their bedroom around 7:45 a.m., announced a robbery, and physically assaulted the 61-year-old man before binding both victims. The assailants stole electronic items, including phones, an iPad, and a gold Hyundai Accent, valued at $150,000. Police believe entry was gained by prying open a burglar-proof window. The male victim received treatment at Chaguana's health facility and is in stable condition. The stolen car and 3 devices were later recovered by Task Force North. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, Syria's foreign ministry has condemned Israel's targeting of government institutions and civilian facilities in Damascus following aerial attacks. After Israeli strikes targeted the Ministry of Defense building and areas around the presidential palace, Syria reports several civilians were killed and dozens injured, with extensive damage to infrastructure and public services. The Foreign Ministry accused Israel of carrying out a flagrant assault in pursuit of a deliberate policy to inflame tensions and undermine security in Syria. Syria holds Israel fully responsible for what it calls a dangerous escalation. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Looking for trusted, affordable security and property services? Horatio Services has you covered across Trinidad and Tobago. We offer battle security, canine patrols, 24/7 protection, and all sorts of private investigations, discreet, professional, and effective. But that's not all. We also provide construction. From building to renovation, we bring your vision to life. Landscaping, keep your outdoors looking sharp and inviting. Maintenance, repairs, upkeep, and everything in between. At Horatio Services, you get professionalism, reliability, and personal care. Whether it's safety or property support you need, visit us at Marino Street, Arima, or call 388-7070. Today, Horatio Services, protection, precision, peace of mind.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Of course, we're in the closing minutes of the breakfast show this morning.
Let me just greet a couple people, Richard. Let me first say good morning to Dr. Neil Singh, who is the head of math or medical board, one of the two. We play cricket on the same team in the Oval, and he's talked just like Dr. Sawh. Real kicks. Real kicks.
This is the Mac Cup.
Huh? Yeah.
The middle-aged cricket team.
Yeah. Dr. Singh is an integral member of that team. Neil Singh. Morning. Let me greet Leonard Clark, who said, just saying good morning. Just found you guys, Trini in Boston. Good to have you, Leonard Clark. And of course, everybody who was high in praise of Dr. Sawh's interview, including Scorpion Pepper, Mrs. R, Rena Jennings, Brent Hackshaw, Susan Jessup, Ricardo Jeffers, CJ, Ava Smith, Just a Nice Guy, Larry Charles, Riri. Wayne Ramsey said we should dedicate Thursdays as Health Day. We will work out something, Wayne Ramsey, and of course Carol Guevara. Who else? Far Rockaway also too, who also called in, So thanks for having. We hope that we would have helped enlighten plenty of people this morning, not just men, but women too, because sometimes it take your wife to get you to go and do what you need to do. Some men ain't going, their wife had to go with them and hold their hand, Richard. And even hold the doctor hand with the finger too.
If the wife is holding the doctor's hand, if the wife is holding the doctor's hand, you have more concerns than just.
Some men are allowing that finger to go there till the wife hold it.
Oh, please. What? The grief of God.
Imagine the visual of that.
No, I don't want to.
Oh Lord! Anyway, what else is in store for us today? Well, we have 5 minutes on Richard. We could make full use of it. What do you want to do?
Yeah. We can take some calls in the interim.
Yeah, we can take a couple calls. Mr. Davis?
We are towards 8:15, so 8:14 we'll cut off the show.
Yes, right. We have a couple minutes. We could take a couple calls, people. Or we could read some of the chat. Charmaine Bernard is laughing at us.
We have a call on the inside. Good
we
morning.
Have a call. All right, let's take the call. Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning again. Oh God, Wendell, well, let's call now. It's only chat. So, I want to ask Richard was the main person asking questions. Only didn't ask him nothing concerning the female anatomy. So I'm wondering if we have to have a gynecologist now to talk about women, because only just concentrate on the prostate.
We can do that. We will get a gynecologist. If you have a recommendation, we could take one.
Or do we need a gynecologist?
Yes, that's what I said. We will get one, Zina.
Dr. that man, what's his name there? Pottinger. It's a good person to talk to.
Yeah.
Again.
All right.
Have a great day, gentlemen.
Take care.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Ooh, living in a house with Zina, you're getting both all the time for everything.
You're on your own, eh? You tread down that road by yourself.
Caller, good morning.
Morning. Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yes, good day again, gentlemen. Great topic, great program. I like what the doctor said. He was clear on everything. I like the questions you all asked. What may I tell you was epic. This is what we're talking about, and I hope you all continue with this, with different things, because especially with men. I mean, we ladies, we just go and we check ourselves, but men have a way to just wait until, well, all right, if it ain't break, well, be good. You understand? So, enough respect to that, gentlemen. Great program as usual.
Thank you, Suzanne. Take care. We'll take one more call.
And I know it's really a feature of men of color that we oftentimes don't want to find out.
Yes,
Hi,
we don't want to find out. You're right.
Yeah.
Morning. Yes. As Wendell, you won't believe her. This is the very first day I was just like how it is continue, because most of the time I had to leave part of the way when you all doing interviews. But this morning was the best. That Dr. Sawh, he's really one of Richard's actors. You should show the RRR. But it was a real great show this morning with Dr. Sawh. So enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so this is where we wrap up the breakfast show this morning. Of course, the NewEraTTRadio.com continues, so you can continue with that stream. You can also tune in on New Era TT Radio, so you can continue to listen to programming throughout the day on TuneIn, either through your smart devices or just go to TuneIn on your whatever you're listening to on the internet, and you can just slap in the name New Era TT Radio, and you'll be good to go, because programming continues throughout the day. And of course, Tony Fraser will be on this afternoon. They're talking about AI, so you should not miss that conversation. Of course, have a fantastic day, whatever you do. The weekend begins tonight, people, at the second after midnight. Don't you forget it. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
Have an absolutely wonderful day. We hope that we did justice to our couple hours here this morning. And remember, one life, live it.
Right, and this has been
The Breakfast Show.
Oh God, he's always slow.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned